All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm super excited to have you guys joining our Sage Intacct new release 4 of 2025 overview today. We're going to go ahead and get started. We are going to kick off today with a few just brief introductions, and then we're going to follow that by a presentation of the Sage Intacct release 4 2025 highlights. And then we are going to wrap up our hour today with a exciting presentation of the Vena software solution. All right, so we'll just get started. My name is Heather Broberg. For those that do not know me, I'm a principal here at GRF CPAs, and I'm also the Director of Accounting Technology Services. Little background on GRF for anyone who's new to our organization. We are a full service audit accounting firm. We are based out of Bethesda, Maryland. We serve clients in the DMV as well as internationally and nationally. Our firm really does serve a wide range of clients. We cover not-for-profit, for-profit, schools, government contractors, and others. However, our niche is really within the not-for-profit and INGO space. Today, we have a very special treat for you all. We are joined by Carrie White and Jason Chen with Vena Solutions. Vena is a leading AI-powered complete FP&A platform. It integrates with ERPs like Sage Intacct. So be sure to stay on the call for the second portion of the presentation, as Carrie and Jason will be providing some background on the Vena platform, as well as a live demonstration of some of the amazing features of Vena. All right. So we will just move right in to our release for 2025 highlights. I wanted to start off today talking a little bit about some new features that you're going to see in accounts payable. In accounts payable, via this release, Sage has given us the ability to do some enhanced filtering on the AP ledger report. For those who had seen the report previously, you'll see that everything was predefined. You could not add advanced filters, but now we have some of those options. If you see here on my screen, there are 3 new filter options. One is for multiple vendors. We can also add in vendor groups and even include child vendors when sorting by those ranges. I'm just going to show you here on my screen what this looks like. So if you were to get into your Sage Intacct environment today, select the AP ledger report that you have been currently leveraging, you are now going to see a pop-up with those advanced filters that are present there. Really going to allow you to be able to do more reporting directly from the AP ledger report rather than having to create customized reports to pull that data. All right. Another feature I wanted to mention regarding accounts payable is some upcoming changes to the AP automation email domains. So for those of you that are already leveraging AP automation, you're aware that you had an email domain. For those that are not leveraging yet, you're not technically impacted, but it's good for you to know in the event that you intend to. So in February of 2026, all organizations are automatically going to be transitioned to the new email domain for all AP automation. Again, if your company is already using it, you're going to want to do some administrative things in advance of February 2026. You can go ahead and actually do this now if you want. You're going to want to log a support case. It is going to allow you to opt into the smarter email capabilities for AP automation. What that is going to do is transition your current AP automation email address to the new domain, which is at ai.sage.com. You'll want to take note of the new email address so that you can supply that to your vendors, your IT department, and other ways you may be leveraging it. All right. Another thing I wanted to mention as we are moving right along towards the end of 2025, 1099 processing is going to begin. Effective December the 17th, the 1099 processing for 2025 will be available in Sage. That means you will be able to run all of your reports and generate 1099s at that point. For those who are looking to e-file, and you have not done this previously with Sage Intacct, there is an integration with Tax Bandits right within your Sage Intacct environment. So really you can skip the manual process of printing forms and or downloading the data out of Sage Intacct, uploading to another partner to go ahead and file those for you. So you can now do that directly in Sage Intacct. There is not a cost for this service within the Sage Intacct application. You can simply turn that on within your accounts payable configuration. So if you go to your accounts payable module, you can go to configuration and go ahead and select the box that says you want to leverage the 1099 e-filing powered by Tax Bandits. Once you do that, you're going to want to go ahead and go to taxbandits.com and set up an account there. There is some fees from Tax Bandits. It's listed there on their webpage. You will pay them for filing services, but there is no fee to leverage the integration. Once you wrap up your 1099 information in Sage Intacct, you'll be able to quickly kick off a button. You can see here the button in Intacct is going to say ready to e-file. It is going to send the information directly from Sage Intacct over to Tax Bandits. Tax Bandits will then populate the forms and electronically file those with the IRS for you. If you have any follow-up questions on any of that functionality at any point, feel free to reach out to me and my team. All right. Let's talk for just a moment about one of the new enhancements here in accounts receivable. For those that are leveraging customer statements, or maybe you did not know that we had customer statements in Sage Intacct, we now have a new transaction option to select when running them. One of them is to show all transactions. It used to only be open invoices. Now you can show all. You can also show open invoices and credits, which is new. Previously, again, it was just open invoices. The option to show open invoices is still present. This was the only option previously, so it has been listed. You can see here on my screen now, you will have those three options when generating and emailing out the statements to customers. Another item I wanted to mention during our call today regarding accounts receivable is payment processing. For those of you that are doing customer payment processing within the Sage Intacct application, or potentially didn't know that that is an option, previously there had been some integrations with Authorize.net and PayPal that were being leveraged. Those are actually going to be sunsetted, meaning they will no longer be available in Sage Intacct after November 7th, which actually just occurred. So you would know this if you were doing so. If you are now looking for another option to replace these, and or if you didn't know there was an option, there is, I would love to share with you some more information. But the Sage recommended solution to accept customer payments in Sage Intacct is VersaPay. There are some other options as well. I'm always happy to provide that feedback. When you get a copy of this PowerPoint, you'll be able to click in here to the VersaPay and get more information. Also noting that other payment services and APIs for customer banks and credit cards directly with your banking institution and credit card solution are no longer supported to process payments in Sage Intacct. If that is something you are leveraging today, please feel free to reach out to me so we can talk about those available options for you. All right. One really, really exciting thing that I wanted to share today is an enhancement to the general ledger reporting functionality. Many of you know that previously, if you were to run a general ledger report, albeit what I'm showing here on my screen is a general ledger detail report, but any journal report in Intacct was limited to only displaying posted general ledger transactions. And so this has been an idea that's been brought up by clients for many years, and now it is available. What this is we can now report with unposted GL transactions. The great thing about that is you can now preview the impact of pending transactions. Maybe you're not sure exactly if that transaction is going to do what you want it to do. Instead of having to post, delete, reverse, you have the ability to go ahead and run the journal report, take a look at the impact, make changes to the entry. It's also going to allow to speed up the month-end process, the review before posting of all of these entries. So very exciting functionality. Okay. Let's take a couple minutes to talk about fixed assets management. Again, I'll make a plug for this as well. If you are not leveraging fixed assets management today, and that is something you feel is beneficial to your organization, please let me know. Always happy to have a conversation about it. It is very, very robust functionality, saves lots of time in terms of recording assets, automating depreciation, and so on and so forth. So there were some enhancements for those that are leveraging this today. We now have the ability via this Q4 release to do partial asset disposal. Previously, it was full asset disposal. Now we can do partial. You can then continue to depreciate the remaining value. So Sage Intacct will then revalue the remainder and then recreate your depreciation entries for you. Another enhancement is the ability to split assets. You can create multiple assets from a single AP and or PO transaction by providing the number of fixed assets and their names. This is a situation of such you purchased 20 computers. Previously, you would have had to create 20 lines within your AP bill, one for each computer. Now we have the ability, as you can see here, from one line to my computer equipment expense for $32,000. We look over on the left, I have told it, create me here 20 different assets from that one line. Very, very big time savings here. And then last but not least, this is also an idea that was posted by a Sage Intacct end user, is the skip asset creation. This is going to allow you at the time that you're entering an AP bill, when the GL account is set to fixed assets, there is a button at the bottom of your screen in your show asset or show detail line, do not create the asset. Previously, if you had the GL account that was associated with a fixed asset, it would force you to enter the asset information and create an asset. Now you can skip that. All right. Okay, and then last but not least, this release also gives us the ability to edit assets in service. As we know, for those that are using fixed assets, previously you would have had to have taken it out of service, recreate the asset with those changes. Now we have the ability to edit dimensions without needing to do an asset transfer. You can also rename your assets throughout the asset life. So perhaps you create an asset and you called it laptop HP, but now you have a number that you want to assign to it. Instead of having to recreate that asset, take it out of service, bring it back in to change the name, you can change the asset name as well. So this is really exciting functionality. It's going to save a lot of time for those changes needed on assets throughout their life cycle. Okay. All right. So for the last few minutes of the highlights, I'm going to spend a little time talking about the exciting enhancements within Sage AI. That is also going to be the focus of the live demonstration that will immediately follow. Some of this information for those that were with us for the Q3 release, I shared some of this. I'm going to go back through for those that were not present, and even for those that may not have had the ability to leverage this yet or see it come full circle, because now as part of the Q4, everything that I talked about last time that was in the pipeline for August and then November is now available. So I'm going to go through those, and then we're going to take a few minutes after that to walk through what that actually looks like within the Sage Intacct user interface. So first and foremost, many of the Sage Intacct users, I'm sure, have seen this at this point. This is our search help that is powered with Copilot. And so if you look here on my screen, this is showing where you can find it. You go up to your help and support, top right of your Sage Intacct screen. There is now a search help with the Sage Copilot logo off to the left. That will open a screen that will allow you to leverage Copilot during your searching. Natural language understanding, it really does increase efficiency. You can just type a question, can ask for additional information, and it really is going to leverage the Copilot functionality within Sage Intacct to give you intelligent recommendations that are relevant, and it works very quickly, which I'm going to get to show you guys that here in a few minutes. Next, I want to spend a couple minutes talking about the Sage AI close automation. This has several components to it, which we will dive into it, but really the close automation, this has been in the works with Sage Intacct for many years. It has been in beta for about a year and now generally available. The intention of these different functions, which there are 4 of them that we'll go through, is to streamline and accelerate the month-end close. It is going to allow for task tracking, flagging of issues, and really guiding the team, reduce manual effort, and help you close faster. So we will dive into this a little bit further. A couple of other things that you may not know that is in Sage Intacct that we are leveraging the Sage AI for is the AP automation. If you've not seen that and you're not using it yet, we'd love to have time to show you what this can do. As I mentioned earlier with the smart email domain, Sage gives you the ability to bring your invoices directly into an inbox in Sage Intacct. It's leveraging the Sage AI functionality to read, code, and really enhance the AP bill entry. And then, of course, there's Sage Intelligent Time. For those that are leveraging timesheet functionality within Sage Intacct, there is an Intelligent Time enhancement. And then, of course, from a GL perspective, the outlier detection is available. Most of you have probably heard about that. It has been around. It was actually the very first AI that was leveraged in Sage Intacct. And once you turn this functionality on within your general ledger, it flags for journal entry approvers unusual journal entries in real time. So it builds a large language model within your Sage Intacct environment so that as transactions are being recorded, it's looking at, is this usual? If I go back 4 years in my system, does this make sense? If I go back 12 months, are there any red flags? So as a user is going in to approve those, it's going to call out those red flags for them. And then cash prediction and optimization in forecasting, of course, and then the search help powered by Copilot that I previously mentioned. This is kind of full scale, the offerings of the Sage AI that exists today. A little bit more on the close automation. It is available now and can be deployed within your Sage Intacct environment. You do have to go through your account manager, albeit myself, in order to have this turned on. So feel free to reach out to me. So what does, I'm going to go ahead and advance forward. What does close automation really do for us? It is a collection, as I mentioned, of Sage AI powered tools that is really modernizing the month-end close process. We're moving towards more of a continual close. And so it is helping teams close faster, stay aligned, and really call out problems very quickly. So as we know, most of our finance teams are still leveraging spreadsheets or they're just doing the close without collaboration, disconnected. And the close automation is really transforming that into a very structured process. Very efficient, insightful, and collaborative. It's saving hours of every close by automating the task tracking and tools and really giving visibility across your organization through shared checklists and dashboards, as well as in-task collaboration within a task on a checklist, which I'm going to show you many of these live here in a few minutes. Go forward just a moment. So those close automation tools that I mentioned are made up of variance analysis, which we're going to get to look at here live today. Sage Intacct is leveraging AI at the end of the month for you to compare and look for variances, provide you variance reporting to assist you in finding variances quickly and solving for those. And then there is now the close assistant, which we're going to walk through this today, and then the subledger reconciliation assistant. Subledger reconciliation assistant is, again, leveraging the Sage AI functionality to compare the subledger data to your general ledger balances and calling out those that do not balance, and then furthermore providing you the reporting that will help you hone in on what is causing those variances. As all of us know, sometimes it's hours we spend doing a reconciliation of our general ledger to our subledger. Time savings is going to be significant from this functionality. And then last but not least, as I mentioned, these are the items that were not quite available when we met last quarter. They are available now. This is our Sage Close workspace. This is going to provide checklists and notification, and then dashboarding functionality to give you the ability to see what is going on real time and collaborate with your team on the close. All right. I've left here a little pop-up so that you can kind of see what variance analysis looks like and how Sage is presenting this. You can see subledger to the GL doesn't balance, it's in red. It's going to then prompt you, do you want to run reports, and then begin to assist you with these things. And then the close management with Copilot, close assistant, you can see here a snippet on the right-hand side. This is the close assistant within Sage Intacct, as well as the closed books overview list view that is now available. But we're going to get to see that live today. And then I am going to move right past this. And then, of course, last but not least, as I mentioned, the subledger reconciliation assistant really is calling out those that are difference, going to then give you the reporting so that you can automatically generate the GL to subledger reconciliation reports, bring visibility to the variances. It's going to quickly identify, this is probably what's driving your discrepancy. Drill in here, and then you'll be able to drill down, find the details, and now we're not spending hours for reconciling to find the variance. Sage Intacct is assisting us to do that. All right. Close control coming to us from the close automation. This is our close workspace. We're going to look at this today, but here's a quick snippet of what the close workspace looks like within Sage Intacct. This is what came out in August as an early adopter. And then, of course, followed by the insights that I mentioned, taking all of that information and putting that closed workspace into a dashboard that has real-time visibility across all of your checklists, all of your tasks, all of your entities. There are intuitive visual charts and really an ability to have enhanced collaboration within tasks, leveraging the Intacct Collaborate functionality. Okay. All right, I am going to jump right in here to the live demonstration. As we just wrapped up talking about the Sage AI, we're going to get into the Sage tool so that we can take a look at a few things. We're going to first take a look at that Sage Copilot help. We will walk through the close automation as well as the newly available Sage Close workspace. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and close this screen momentarily. All right, here we are in our Sage Intacct environment. Give me just 1 second, you guys. Multiple things moving on my screen at one time. All right, so let's start here taking a look at our Sage Copilot help. As I showed earlier on my screen, it is right here at the top. You can see the Sage Copilot logo. I'm going to go ahead. Actually, I'm going to go to the help one first. Click here, can click on search help right from this screen. Now, again, this is a very interactive tool, just as you would expect from an AI-powered tool. You can type in anything that you want here. For example, if I were to say, guide me on how to set up AP bill approvals. Right, we'll give this a moment to process and give us some recommendations. Very intuitive, very interactive. Always a little slower when I'm sharing my screen. All right, there we go. So very quickly, Sage Copilot has come back and said, hey, to configure AP bill approvals in Sage Intacct, you must first update permissions. These are the permissions that you're going to need. Here is what you need to do next. Identify a bill approval policy. If we scroll all the way down, it will then take you to additional prompts, but you could say, show me how to configure approvals. Then that's going to hone right in on that area. So very interactive, definitely a major enhancement within the search help functionality. Right, I'm going to go ahead and close this. And then up here at the top where I was a moment ago, our Sage Copilot button, this is where you are going to find the close automation functionality once you are subscribed to it. I'm going to go ahead and click on this. Probably remember this from a few minutes ago and seeing my screenshots. I'm going to go and I'm going to tell, let's go ahead and just run our close assistant. I'm going to run my close assistant for a prior period. You're going to choose your period that you want to do your close assistant for. Very quickly, Sage has gone ahead and ran the close assistant for my September 2023 period, and it has given me the results. As I see here, it is bringing up for me in accounts payable, you have unposted bills that you need to look at. So if I click on that, it's going to take me right to my bills screen. And then from here, it is going to say, do you want to prepare your AP reconciliation? That is where it is going to compare my AP subledger to my GL. I'm going to say, yes, I definitely want to do that. Once we get all the way through the close process for accounts payable, you go up, you'll be able to close AP right from the close assistant screen as well. Same thing on the AR side. I need to review my unposted invoices. I can go ahead and prepare that subledger reconciliation, and I have the ability to close AR when I'm ready to do so. Very much the same. You have cash management. Go review your bank reconciliations. And then also for the general ledger, it's saying you have unposted journal entries you need to take a look at. So we can walk through all of these steps. There is also an option here to view the closed book overview. If I click on this, it's going to take us to an enhanced list view in Sage Intacct that is tracking for me my close progress across the subledgers and the general ledger by entity. So you can see here it's calling out for me, I've closed entity 130 for September 2023, but the other ones are still open. So you can continually monitor that progress from right there. Now we can see that Sage went ahead already and has ran my reconciliation reports for me. And it's telling me that it is sitting up here now in my insights. Once you run your variance reports, it will then prompt in your insights, you can go in here and take a look at them. It is telling me variance has been detected between AP and the general ledger. I want to take a look. Well, what is happening there? So if I go ahead and pull this up, by entity, Sage has now brought in my GL balance, my AP balance, and identified the variance. Now, as we all know, previously, we would run a trial balance, we would run the AP ledger, we would try to look at the two, and then we begin trying to identify the variance issues. Now Sage is doing that for us by entity, click of a button. I can also drill in to the variance report. So from here, Intacct is providing me a report of the variances. And if I scroll down just a little bit, you'll see that I can say, hey, go ahead and run that reconciliation report and help me identify what is causing these discrepancies. And it is telling me now that it is preparing that. I believe I probably have one already. Take a look. We'll let it finish running. But once it gets done with that, I'm able to go ahead and take a look at that report. It is going to call out for me the variances it can identify. From also in this insight screen, you can see that you can look at daily close outstanding. We can also toggle back to my close chat and say, hey, I want to rerun the subledger reconciliation report. I want to refresh the close automation and then walk back through those steps again. All right. From here, I want to take a moment to show you all the new close workspace. I'm going to go ahead and toggle here to my applications dropdown. You will see that the close workspace is an additional module, whereas the other functionality we've talked about, once it's turned on, it's embedded within the modules that exist now. This is an additional module. It is called close workspace. And I'm going to toggle right there. Okay. All right, perfect. Within your closed workspace, I'm going to go ahead and click on Setup. we have the ability to set up our checklist templates. If I click into here, you can see that I have 3 checklist templates set up. We're going to take a look at what these are. These are predefined templates that you create. There are actually some out of the box for you to begin with that are going to allow you to have a checklist for month-end close, year-end close, quarter close, any of those that you want, but you can reuse these over and over and over again. If you take a look at them, you will see here that they already all have predefined tasks assigned. So as you're going through new month-end close, you don't have to rework the wheel. You would select a template as you build out that checklist. And what I mean by that is if I go here and say, please create me a new checklist, I can select from one of my templates. When I do that, it is then going to default down below. I can add additional tasks as needed, but then here I'm going to select which month am I going to have this for. I'll just say that it's for Q4 2024, can go ahead and give it a name, probably going to call it Q4 2024, and then you're going to have your task or your checklist owner. And then down below, this is where you start to then populate which user within your system is going to own these tasks. So I can assign these out to my accounting staff, and then I can give them their start and end dates. If I open the details, you can see that I can also assign these out at the entity level. You can have the same individual that is doing the same task for all of your entities, or you can have a separate individual for each one. But you can do that right within the details. I'm going to cancel this one for just a minute and go to a live one so that you can see what one in progress looks like. I have 2 going right now. I have a month-end close for September and October in tandem. You can have multiple checklists going at one time. I'm going to go ahead and just view this in progress one for September. If we take a look at this here, can see that here are all of my tasks. There is also a drill in that will take us into the task details, and as well as a navigation link. So this task is telling me I need to review bank reconciliations. If I click on the navigation, it's going to take me to the bank rec screen. It's also going to tell me who it's assigned to, start and end date. Are there any dependencies? Am I waiting on someone else to finish something before I can begin? And what is it on schedule, overdue? All of them are in progress and all of these are overdue. So as they are completed, the respective user that's assigned to the task is going to go ahead and mark them as completed. And if we look here at the secondary quarter end close, you can see same concept here. All right. I am going to then show you how does this checklist functionality then translate to our close progress monitor. That was our phase 2, the close management's insights, the dashboarding functionality. So first we have our checklist, but then a bow is put on that, and it's wrapped all up in our close progress monitor dashboard within the workspace. So we can see here at the top, I can have this progress monitor dashboards filtered down to a specific checklist, specific period. Maybe I have multiple checklists for a specific period, or I can leave it unfiltered and I can see everything. It is calling out for me how many tasks are overdue. Do I have tasks at risk? What's on track? What's complete? What is my progress across each of the categories? Now the categories within here are all customizable. Right now I have them set up for these 4. This is the out of the box. You can create custom categories and assign your task out as needed, or you can leverage the ones that are predefined. Down here, we can see we have 2 reports that are pulling in our top 10 tasks. And I can also come here and look at my next 10 tasks that are due, who they are assigned to, how much longer until they are due, how far overdue are they. And then, of course, I can drill into all of my tasks. And then over here, we have the task assignment insights. Some nice graphs here. Again, same filtering options, but if we look down below, we can see how many of our tasks are recording tasks, meaning they need to do a transaction, how many are reconciliation tasks, and how many of our review tasks. These are our different task types. Where are we in these in terms of completion, in progress, or not started? And then there's progress by checklist if we have multiple, as well as progress by entity. And then, of course, progress by assignee. Where is each employee at in the progression of their tasks? You can even drill into which tasks are due at this point. One of the other great benefits of this application is the ability to send out reminders to those that are involved in the close process. So if we look here in our configuration of this application, there are notifications. I can set up a notification when a task is approaching, when it is overdue, if there is a risk, if a preceding task is now complete so that someone knows that they can now do their part. So there's multiple different notifications. You can use out-of-the-box templates to create the verbiage in the notification. You can draft a new one leveraging Copilot. So you can see here, if I click on this, I can say, here is what Copilot thinks I need. I can say, oh, okay, I actually just want to generate a new one. I want to make it more lengthy. I want to make it more informal. Give me some new recommendations. This is the email that would then go out to your team members. And if we look here quickly, I'll show you an example. Here's one that went to me because I'm the owner of those 20 tasks that are open. This is the email that generated, came right to me, telling me you have one or more tasks that are awaiting action. Gives me a synopsis down below. You can have this go out daily. And in this, it can give me a link. As you see, these are all hyperlinks. I can go right into Sage Intacct and address these. So a lot of great things happening within the Sage AI. Again, all of this generally available at this point in time. Always happy to go more in depth, answer any questions that you may have. So as always, feel free to reach out to me. All right, we've now covered all of the new release Q4 2025 features in Sage Intacct. So I'd like to move on to the final portion of our webinar, the Vena software solution demonstration. Please help me in welcoming Carrie White with Vena. And Carrie, I will hand it off to you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Heather. It's great to be here. And thank you, everybody, for staying on. We've got some exciting things actually to show here. I am a partner account manager with Vena, and I own the relationship with GRF. What I'm going to do is just talk you through a little bit about why Vena, in particular, being a AI-powered complete platform for the Office of Finance, and particularly financial planning and analysis, is so important in today's day and age. So I will share my screen here, and you will see myself and Jason here. Let me just put this into slideshow so that's a little bit bigger for you. The main reason, so for those of you that are in the Office of Finance, working within FP&A, across your business, the pressure has really never been greater for a solution like Vena in the market, because of the fact that 89% of finance leaders are saying that there's so much uncertainty, way more uncertainty in the markets than there have been more than 5 years ago. We know, for those of you living in the United States, and the tariffs and everything else, is there's just such an uncertainty and an impact as well, just globally, also across. And many financial professionals are being asked to take on a lot more strategic responsibilities and business advisory type roles. And it's really hard to do that when you're sort of stuck in budgeting chaos that tends to happen at this time of year, and being able to ineffectively do so through the use of sort of normal Excel spreadsheets. So there's a lot of FP&A folks out there really struggling. 75% of the time is spent on just gathering data, doing the administrative tasks, and not being strategic. 85% are struggling to really maintain that executive level decision making. And then obviously with the onset of AI and the growth of AI, there's a lot more of that that's going to be made impactful through decision making. And so based on some industry insights of McKinsey as well as PwC, companies that are really engaging and deciding to grow and mature their capabilities are really outpacing their competitors by a 2.5x and or a 1.5x in terms of growth and doubling their EBITDA. So there's a lot of big reasons as to why companies should really look towards a solution to help them. And when it matters most, companies are still relying on Excel. And Vena, as a complete planning platform optimized for the Office of Finance to do financial planning and analysis, has decided that we are going to embrace Excel because 87% of companies still continue to rely on it. We're not going to replace it, but what we're going to do is layer it on top of a very rich, very secure, very audit capable, multi-dimensional OLAP database that allows you to really do some powerful things, leveraging the data that you have in Sage Intacct or any other ERP for that matter, pulling the data in from your GL and your source systems to be able to really give you a powerful tool that is very flexible, that is very collaborative, because chaos happens all the time at planning season and budgeting season. You're trying to get clarity, you're trying to be agile, you're trying to make an impact, and yet there's manual exports of data, there's manual processes of being in Excel and emailing those files back and forth. There's multiple version control issues. And so a lot of very smart people are doing very manual, inane tasks, and there's not enough time to review. And there's a lot less business agility and so on and so forth. So it becomes very chaotic between finance, operations, lots of different questions, lots of different inefficiencies across the company. So therefore, Vena, who I think is one of, and we know right now we're a leader in the industry as far as involving AI within our product. We have partnered with Microsoft. We're based in Azure, and we can definitely interact as well with any and all of the ERPs, like Sage Intacct in particular. And you can also leverage the investment that as well a lot of companies and that you may have in the Microsoft 365 stack, like PowerPoint integration, Teams integration, and so on and so forth. So really great opportunity to take what Matt Blakely said from Coca-Cola Consolidated. It's really being better able to understand the data, the results, and just really Vena was his best decision that he's made in his career. So it's a pretty resounding testimonial for us to be able to leverage. With respect to the rest of Vena, Jason's going to take you on a nice little journey here very shortly. But we have introduced and actually developed a purpose-built co-pilot for FP&A. So you can get a lot faster support, definitely continue in the flow of work within the style and nature of what you're used to. A lot of, again, financial professionals are known and used to Excel based, and then also living and breathing a lot in Teams these days. Many companies are within the Microsoft stack as far as, Teams, PowerPoint, Excel. But being able to really become a specialist for FP&A to kind of make those decisions better and faster. Transparent as well, AI with that enterprise grade security. And so the Koali finance team scaled very quickly because it was really like having a financial analyst on their team that really helped speed up their workflow. So Jason's going to take you through a little bit of the how and the actual look and feel of Vena, and I'll pass it over to Jason.
Perfect. Thanks, Carrie. All right, give me a second here while I share screen. Perfect. All right, one more slide, folks. We've got just a quick agenda here to show you what we'll be walking through. First, we're going to start off with our Sage integration, show you how seamlessly we can integrate your data into the Vena system. Next, we're going to show you a feature called Template Studio, which allows you to build new reports as well as budgeting templates in a matter of minutes. Next, our Vena Copilot feature will highlight how we can have you or any of your budget owners leverage AI right into the planning. And then finally, we'll finish off with Vena Copilot, allowing you to ask questions about your data, whether it's your actuals coming from Sage Intacct or your budgets that we're creating within Vena. We're going to be able to get quick insights as well as analysis and also build some reports. Okay, let's get into it, folks. All right, so Vena is a web-based platform. Today, we're going to log in first as myself, a solutions consultant. Know that we're compatible across multiple different browsers, as well as Mac, PC, mobile, tablet, and of course, we can set up single sign-on as well. Now, when we log in today, I'm going to take everyone over to our direct connector. We actually have a direct connection into Sage Intacct, as you can see here. Users can enter in their company information, company ID, Intacct username and password. From there, we can actually integrate with any of the custom tables that we have within the Sage Intacct system. Here, showing that we can essentially build in a new connection, whether it is your GL details, your fixed asset registries, your various different subledgers. Essentially, we can bring in any of the objects within Sage Intacct, as well as any custom fields as well. Now, after showing that we can integrate with the Sage Intacct system, I'd love to show you how we can set up a new budgeting template in just a matter of minutes. Leveraging what we call Template Studio, we essentially have a wizard-like experience that allows you to, again, build any custom template or report. Here, we'll use the Build a Template, and as you can see, we can select from a number of different pre-selected options, whether it is a custom planning template, a custom report, variance report, or one of the standard OpEx, revenue, COGS, income statement, balance sheet, or income statement variance reports that we have. Today, we're going to start off with a custom planning input template. We're going to actually pick and choose exactly how we want this to be designed. As a former consultant, this would actually take hours of work, but we're going to reduce it down to minutes. So it starts off first by having us design how we want our accounts to flow into this form. We actually can select across our entire charts of accounts here, whether it is operating expenses or a level below. Today, we'll start with operating expenses to keep the demonstration simple. And in terms of how else the other dimensions that we have, whether it's your individual entities, departments, projects, customers, we'll of course integrate that all within the system. Today, let's build an entity and department input template. We want to be able to open up to all of my various different entities, whether it's North America, Europe, or Canada, etc. Here we'll select all entities, and very similarly for the departments, we'll be able to budget across all of my various different departments as well. That's all that it really takes. And again, in a couple of seconds, we've created a custom planning input template. Today at 11:49, you're also seeing my pre-test as well. Now, let's assume that we're opening this up as finance. We're setting an initial budget for one of our departments. Here we can select from our various different entities, whether it is, again, within North America, US and Canada, or Europe. Today, we'll select the United States. And for the departments, we can really plan for any of our sub-departments, whether it is sales, marketing, human resources. We'll just pick sales for today. Now, applying this selection, we're going to load in all of the details. Again, this template was created in just a couple of seconds. And as you can see here, because we've integrated with your Sage Intacct system, we essentially can bring in your last year's actuals, the current year as well as any other historical data within the system. Scrolling over to the right, within the Vena system, we can actually use Excel to enter in the budgets. Now here, let me just do some quick resizing as we just created this template together. And now I can highlight to you some of the AI capabilities within the Vena system. Leveraging our Vena Copilot here, we can actually just talk in natural language to build our budget. So here, we'll highlight a couple cells. And first, let's assume that we want to roll over last year's budget. And we can just type exactly that, roll over last year's actuals by 15%. This could be you, your budget owners. Again, if you're Excel savvy or not, we can actually just talk to Vena Copilot to build the budget for us. As you can see here, essentially, we've completed these two line items. And if we take a closer look at the formula, we actually notice that it built the formula for us, that 15%, referencing the last year's actuals. All right, now next what we can do is actually show some other functionalities as well. Here we can spread 50K based on last year's seasonality, taking into account our last year's actuals, the drivers, the seasonality that really informs our actuals. Now, as you can see here, Vena Copilot was able to build this very complicated formula. Whether, again, it is someone who's tech savvy or not, we can build very interesting and dynamic budgets. I do want to highlight that in these examples, I just chose the last year. But within Vena, we actually can reference any of the data coming from the cloud, whether it is this year or last year, we actually provide the underlying actuals to Vena Copilot to complete this work. All right, now let's finish off the budget here. One of my favorite parts of this is really we can one-shot this, spreading, let's say, 500K evenly. In one go, we can actually fill out this budget, have it spread based off of my inputs as well. Finally, I've got a couple GLs, but let's assume that we want to pass this on to one of our end users. Let's say that sales complete these 2 line items, passing on some comments. I might even insert some comments for my team on how we actually completed this budget. So let me just quickly add in some additional comments here of which drivers that we used. Perfect. Now we can actually save the data. This will lock it into the cloud. We can report on this, do variance analysis, or in this case, actually pass it on to the head of the sales department to complete the budget. Now, coming back over to the Vena system, we can leverage the Vena workflow to essentially assign this out to my user, Frank. We can attach the form that we just created using our very intuitive and user-friendly workflow. Going from here, we can even task bind this. Now, this is allowing us to select how we want Frank, our department head, to open it up. We want it to open up directly to the US entity as well as the sales department, just simplifying the task for Frank so that
Uh-oh. It looks like we lost Jason. That hasn't happened before. Everybody, hold on a minute. Let's just sort of see if Jason will come back online. We have had some power outages here. We're up in Canada, and there's been some wind and rain. I'm wondering if maybe that's part of the reason why. So I do see that there is a question from Claire. How does Vena work with existing budgeting templates that you might be using? So the beauty of Vena is that it's a very open platform, and it can absolutely consume the existing budgeting templates that you have. If you're using those templates in Excel or with another platform, it's pretty much a one-to-one, move and motion to be able to load them into Vena. So the work, and I know a lot of FP&A professionals are very close to the workbooks, and obviously all the effort and time that is taken to commit to that, build those templates, etc. We don't want you to lose, obviously, that effort. There is some, integration or migration that needs to occur, but definitely very, very good and very useful for doing that. Any other questions at this point? I know we're 5 minutes to the end, and unfortunately, you didn't get to see all of the beauty of Vena. But as aforementioned, the whole point of Vena 2 is to really further connect a number of different areas across the business and really maximize the opportunity to now have a complete mastery starting from your strategic plan, where you can, as a finance organization, really define those long-term goals, those business drivers, and then properly align all the different teams as you move from strategic planning to then budgeting in a very collaborative way. So having all those entities collaborate and allocate resources towards that plan very easily within the platform, able to do that, and then be able to then report, monitor, and performance track everybody's contributions to then be able to spit out and analyze and optimize some what if adjustments, what if modeling and some adjustments as well. And being able to then use Copilot in its, in your native language to be able to ask it some questions and actually surface data for you that you would normally spend a lot of time trying to chase and find. And so some of the customers that we've worked with, this one happens to be the Museum of Science and Industry out of Chicago. So they used us for financial reporting, management reporting, and operational planning. And they saved their variance analysis by 50% with connected planning using Vena. So, Excel is every financial analyst's favorite Swiss Army knife. And the fact that Vena doesn't really take that away is a value add to, obviously, the Museum of Science and Industry. And certainly, Vena has been in business since 2013. We have thousands of success stories and a number of different industries as well. Non-for-profit, we have several different wins, and we definitely have not-for-profit pricing. And we're very familiar, obviously, with leveraging Sage Intacct and working with that data as much as we can to make sure that, again, you get everything surfaced that you need when you're using the Vena platform. So I'll stop there. Jason's back. I know we've got 3 minutes.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that. My Wi-Fi completely cut out. Didn't even know what happened there. But just to close it off with a quick demonstration, I've shown you how we can essentially use Vena within the budgeting. We'll skip that part that I just planned with Frank logging in, and we'll actually show you our feature here called Vena Copilot, which allows you to essentially ask and query questions about your data. And we'll start off very simple. What is revenue for 2023? Again, this could be one of you or one of your department heads or team members coming in and just getting a quick answer. We are going to be able to talk to it in natural language about not only our actuals coming from Sage Intacct, but of course our budgets as well. And because we have our budgets within the system, we can ask it really interesting questions, such as what are the top 5 departments in terms of operating expense variance actuals to budget for May 2023. And in this case, not only are we getting down into the nitty-gritty, we're actually having Vena Copilot perform some analysis for us. We are actually having Vena Copilot calculate the variances for all of my various different departments in terms of operating expense. And additionally, it's also ranking them as well. This is showing that Vena Copilot can do more than just a simple, hey, this, what's that? We can actually train this to perform similar to a junior analyst, finding anomalies, checking seasonality, etc. But one thing that we're incredibly excited about that we'll end the demonstration with today is the fact that we can have this automate the creation of reports for you. So here we'll create an operating expense variance report comparing actuals to budget for 2023 by department. Now, this could have been by entity, it could have been by customer or by vendor, but the point here is that Vena Copilot is going to be able to take my natural language and then just go off and build a report for me. I can download this report. This report is a fully enabled Vena ad hoc report. I can go ahead and save this onto my desktop. But as you can see here, we've built this so that you can talk to it to get whatever report that you need. We asked for operating expenses by department for 2023, comparing actuals and budget, and that's exactly what we got. Additionally, we have an awesome visual that accompanies it. Now, with the time that I have, I'd love to just show off why our customers love these ad hoc reports. It's very similar to a pivot table, but where we go beyond pivot tables is that we can interact with our entire charts of accounts. If you've ever tried to do this in a pivot table, there's really no good way to do it. You have to copy paste a number of items. You have to add additional formulas. But here within the Vena system, essentially, we can build a quick P&L together, whether it's at the operating expense level or a level below. We'll come back, quickly refresh the data. Again, it's a pivot table on steroids that allows you to create whatever view that you need. And now that we've attached it to our Vena Copilot, we can actually automate this. Any one of your users can build one of these reports just by describing it. Okay, folks, I know that we're at time. We'll pass it back over to Heather and Carrie, but happy to answer any questions.
Appreciate that. Thanks so much, Jason. Thanks so much, Carrie. It's very, very exciting. All right, everyone. Well, with that, I would like to thank everyone for attending today's webinar. Should you have any follow-up questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. And I wish you all a wonderful holiday season and have a great rest of your week. Thanks all.